a quiet Sunday night in Abilene, Texas, and Charity Lee was finishing her shift as a waitress. But just before midnight, her routine evening was shattered when police walked into the bar and asked for her by name. They told her there'd been an accident at home and that her 4-year-old daughter, Ella, was hurt. It was a deliberate choice of words, because what Charity didn't know was that this was no accident and the person responsible was someone she never could have imagined, her own son. To the outside world, the Bennett family seemed like a picture of resilience. Charity Lee was the devoted single mom to her 2 kids. There was the bright-eyed 4-year-old Ella, and then there was 13-year-old Paris. And Paris was exceptional. With a tested IQ of 141, he wasn't just smart, he was a certified genius. Adored by his teachers and friends, for Charity, who'd fought through a difficult past, Paris wasn't just her son, he was her anchor. The child she believed had saved her life, she had no idea he was about to destroy it. Because behind that gifted mind and charming smile, a horrifying secret was festering. On the night of February 4th, 2007, Paris made his move. After convincing the babysitter to leave early, he was alone with his sleeping sister. What happened next wasn't a sudden burst of anger, it was a cold, calculated, and brutal attack. He beat, choked, and stabbed 4-year-old Ella 17 times. Evidence later showed she had fought back and that he had also sexually assaulted her. After the attack, Paris didn't panic. He calmly called a school friend and chatted for about 6 minutes. Then he dialed 911, putting on a bizarre performance for the dispatcher. He claimed he thought his sister was a demon and even pretended to be performing CPR, but he was actually just pacing the room, counting out the motions. It was the opening movie in a twisted game that only he understood. So the question that haunted everyone was why? Why would a brilliant 13-year-old boy commit such an unspeakable act? The answer is as chilling as the crime itself. Paris's motive was pure revenge, aimed directly at his mother. He had a deep resentment for her, especially after she had a brief relapse with drug addiction. Years later, in an interview, Paris laid out his twisted logic with terrifying clarity. He said, "I'd always known the most devastating thing to my mother would be the loss of one of her children, and I found a way to take away both her children in one fell swoop. Killing his mom, he figured, would have ended her suffering, but by killing Ella, he ensured his mother's pain would last a lifetime." Since he was only 13, Paris couldn't be tried as an adult in Texas. He pled guilty and got the maximum sentence for a juvenile, 40 years in prison. During his evaluation, the true depth of his coldness became clear. He was diagnosed with psychopathic traits, showing an almost complete lack of empathy. This wasn't a case of a troubled teen who just snapped. It was the work of a budding psychopath who'd been having homicidal thoughts since he was a child. In interviews from prison, he talks about the murder with his unnerving detachment, almost like he's analyzing somebody else's crime. That genius IQ was once a source of pride was really just a tool he used to plan the perfect murder. The story of Paris Bennett forces us to confront some really uncomfortable questions about evil and forgiveness. If you think it's important to understand these complex cases, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next story. Today, Paris Bennett remains in a Texas prison. He'll be eligible for parole as soon as February of 2027. Y'all, that's only next year. That's a year away. For his mother, Charity, the reality has been impossible to navigate. For years, she did maintain contact with him, torn between the love for her son and the horror of what he did. More recently, she's spoken about her decision to step back from communications for her own well-being. In her daughter's name, she founded the Ella Foundation, a non-profit that helps others affected by violence. The story is a terrifying reminder that intelligence and morality have nothing to do with each other. And it leaves you with a haunting question. Can someone who was born without a conscience ever truly be rehabilitated?